Now live. All right, so welcome. Today is June 24th, planning board meeting and architectural review board meeting. We'll start off with an attendance.
Okay, Michael Aronson. Here. Eric Talbot.
Here.
Richard Klein.
Here.
Holly Thurston. Here. Pam Nelson. Here. Angelica Kanganis. Here. And Cher Roy.
Here. All right, and for the moment, we are expecting two more. If they come, then I know we have two alternate members here, if Pam and Richard. So if we'll kind of see how that plays out if Carla and Phil show up. But as it stands here, everybody is voting. All right, so just a quick agenda switch here. There's a board of trustees referral that we're gonna be looking at. We're gonna push that to the end of the agenda. We can talk about that after we go through the applications, but we will start with the approval of minutes from our June meeting. And I believe everybody here is eligible to vote. So can I have a motion? Oh, you were not.
And neither was Phil. I think. Right.
Phil Douglas.
Yeah. Right.
Sorry, I'm like looking here, but yeah, so well, from myself, Michael, Carla, Angelica, Holly, and Rich, we're all here. So, and now we have literally our full group. Hey, Carla. So guys have a motion from that group to approve the minutes.
Michael Aronson motion to approve the minutes from June 34th meeting.
On first, I second the motion.
Any objections? No. All right, so those minutes are passed. Okay, so we're gonna actually, like I said a moment ago, we're gonna start with new business tonight. So the first item up is gonna be the BAR application 15/2025 for 49 Hiking Park Drive. And this is for the applications for an addition. So if we can have the applicant, yeah, it's here. And what we'll do is we'll put the drawings up on the screen so they're available to the public who are watching remotely. I'll give you an opportunity first to introduce yourself, and then just you can walk us through the project, specifically the exterior architectural changes, and we'll go from there. Okay.
Good evening. My name's Martin Henning. I'm with Demasi Architects. What we're looking to do is do a small kitchen addition onto the existing structure in the rear. It's squaring off, if you scroll down to the third page. Nope, not down. A little more. There we go. So the existing is in the rear portion, or the kitchen is in the rear part of the building. We're squaring off in the existing opening to give them a bigger kitchen. And we're going to match all the existing siding that's already there, match same color and style, and roof trim details and such. That's pretty much it. Pretty basic.
All right, can we just show that? I know there's two elevations. Maybe we can just look at each of those.
Yeah, the first sheet has the front elevation, I believe, or the rear elevation. I apologize.
Front of the addition.
Yeah. And the peak over the double hung more towards the middle of the page is the kitchen window. And that's the little addition that we're adding. And the sloped roof on the right side of this drawing, the longer slope, that's an existing structure. So the smaller peak is what we're adding.
And I think there's a side elevation, right, looking from the porch.
Yes. Correct there. Which is on the right side kind of that elevation. You'll see a door with a railing in front of it that's infilling that little space.
Right, the railing is part of an existing deck.
Correct. It's just in the foreground of that door.
Right.
And then there's attached pictures. If not, I have a copy of it here that shows where we're filling in. Yes, right there. So that corner where the sliding door is and the smaller window, that little corner we're filling in for the new kitchen.
And so the roof line will change just to the degree that you need to marry up with that.
Yeah, we're gonna have this small peak over facing towards the rear, and then a cricket to encapsulate kind of the low slope roof, which actually coincidentally, or it's gonna help, it's gonna make it actually pitch a little more steeper than the existing one, which will help with ice and water and snow and such.
Right.
And then that would be the front. which we're not touching anything in the front.
So it's pretty straightforward.
Any questions?
Not really. I mean, what is in the rear of the property which the addition will face? Is there another property owner or?
It's mostly yard. There's the two owners
That's
here.
why we own like, there's probably about a quarter of an acre still behind us.
Oh, okay.
It's wooded area next to the Aqueduct
Wooded.
Trail.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So behind us is, further behind us is, Old townhouses.
Like way down the hill, the trees are blocking.
And that's the lower deck that we have, our pool.
Got it.
And can you just explain, you made a reference to something, a cricket, if I heard correctly?
Oh, that was
Roof
just,
line, or-
yeah, between the new roof and the lower slope roof, just to make sure I shed water away. I don't have two roofs falling into each other. I have to get that water or snow and ice away.
Okay.
And I think you noted all the siding, I guess the corner beading and.
It's all gonna match the existing, what's there. They'll, any of the planes that are, because we're squaring it off, the planes that are gonna line up, siding that's gonna line up, they'll feather it in. So it should match as best they can with color and style.
Board members, any other questions? Pretty straightforward. Can I have a motion to open a public hearing?
All right, Talbot, I make a motion to open the public hearing. Bill Murray, second.
Any objections? There are none. We're now in public hearing. Is there anybody here to speak to this application? I don't see anybody in the room. If there's anybody in Zoom, you can use the hand raise function if you would like to speak to this application. And I don't see any hands. Okay, so can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So Murray, a motion to close the public hearing.
On Thursday, I second the motion.
All right, any objections to that? See none. Just as a reminder, we do have a full board here tonight, so the alternates are not eligible to vote right now, so we do have 9 members here, so we'll have the 7 regular members voting, and we can do a roll call. Sorry, guys.
Womp womp. Michael Aronson,
Aye.
Eric Talbot,
Aye.
Holly Thurston,
Aye.
Angelica Kanganis,
Aye.
Carla Elliott,
Aye.
Bill Murray,
Aye.
and Chair Roy.
Aye, very good. Thank you very much. So just as a reminder, so you'll go back to Joe, this is, one step in the approval process, but you obviously have to wait until he issues a full permit before you can start work.
Okay, and then do you have a rough timing on that? The owners were just curious.
That I don't.
Well, we need a resolution first,
Mhm.
and then Joe can go forward with getting the permit prepared. So what do you think? 4 weeks in total?
Yeah.
About a month?
Okay.
Right.
Just
Thank you,
waiting for the resolution. Once we get the resolution, we should be ready to go.
Perfect.
Awesome. Good luck, guys.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. All right, so next up on the agenda, we are getting a,
There was no motion after
Oh.
the to vote.
that's
So who-
interesting.
Yeah.
We retroactively have a motion to.
Michael
approve the
Aronson been
application.
making a motion to approve the item, right?
And
All
Angelica
good?
can a second.
You're-
Okay. you're-
Angelica, I heard Angelica second,
Yeah.
and we're gonna revert back to the roll call that we just took.
Copy and paste it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thanks, Jamie. Shout out.
thanks, Jamie, appreciate that. I don't think I've ever done that one before.
That's all right.
It's all right.
We're a team in this.
First, I love it. Thanks. You've got our back. All right, so next up on the agenda is Planning Board 06/2025 and BAR 16/2025, and this is for 345 North Highland Avenue. Brow and Body LLC is the applicant, and it's a site plan and BAR approvals for renovations to convert a former nursery into an adult use dispensary. So we have the applicant here. I guess so you guys can introduce yourselves. We have the slides up here. We can kind of walk through the site plan, through the plans, and you guys can let us know what your project's all about.
Thank you very much. Good evening. My name is Stephen Bassini. I'm the architect. The applicant is Brown Body LLC. Peter Asadorian, the applicant, is here as well. He is the tenant, the proposed tenant for the site. The owner of the property as well as Carl is here. And I'm here to present for the site plan amendment or site plan approval and the BAR. You have the drawings. I don't know, I sent over some additional drawings that were addressing some of the Keller sessions comments. I don't know if you received them or if they're part of this.
We did receive them, but unfortunately we have
You
to go
would-
by what's in my.
Yeah, no problem.
Yep.
Okay, but I can explain some of those if necessary. So the application is to convert an existing retail landscape use on this property, 345 North Highland on the east side. into another retail use permitted. It is a adult cannabis dispensary. It's a 1,290 square foot building with entrances on the north and south end of the building. Right now, it's divided into several spaces. The proposal architecturally within is to open it up in more of an open plan. There'll be some structure in the interior, moving a bathroom and just reconfiguring it to make it more accessible, more appropriate for the new use. The site itself, minor modifications. The entrance still will be on the north side of the site or the northwest side of the site. Coming in, there it is. So you'll still approach from the northwest. Parking will be on the west side. I'm sorry, the northwest parking will be on the east side, up against where that buffer is now, where there are some pavilions and where some of the previous stock was stored for the landscape business. There are parking spaces there, and there's a turnaround on the south side of the site. There is a sidewalk that goes around the back of the building. Right now, there is no actual accessible entrance as far as, you have to go over curbs and to get into the building. So the one major, I guess you'd say, minor still, amendment to the site itself is a sidewalk on the northeast corner of the building there. We are cutting the existing curb and we're coming down. There you go. Thank you. And we're coming down along the side of the building where there is a sidewalk and a little concrete platform. But we're going to be turning that whole thing right there, that Z-shaped, L-shaped area into an accessible sidewalk. There is a detail for it on sheet 4, but you can see where it is. That comes around to the main entrance of the building by the gate. In the back over there, there are a set of stairs on the south side of the building. That entrance will be reserved for staff, for management, for deliveries, but customers will come in through that first door on the north side of the building. So it starts accessibility. It's on the north side. On the back side, there are stairs, but they only really need the one means. As far as the outside of the building, it's a gray stucco building, white trim, a roof, 2 dormers on the front. That's going to be the aesthetics when we are finished as well. There is a modification. Thank you. You guys are great. We're doing that. Thank you. All right, thank you, Matt. So there's the building.
Wait till I get done.
Oh, yeah, no.
I've had a good
You're
battle up so far.
Amazing. So that's the side from Highland Avenue. You see the entrance there. So those 2 dormers, everything really is staying the same there. On that entrance on the left-hand side that's covered, that door will be replaced to a more secure door in kind with what's there. On the south side as well, which you can't see from this picture, but there are other ones, is the same similar door, colonial style, but it'll be more of an update. Thank you. It'll be more of an updated secure door as well. On the back of the building, just for the layout of the interior, that small window right there will be replaced, will be blocked up, patch stucco to match existing there. And as far as any other modifications to the outside of the building, there's nothing major. There's nothing actually at all. We are doing some additional lighting. There are 3 lampposts on the property. I don't need for you to go back to the site plan, but there are 3 lampposts on the property. There's 2 on the south side of the property. Thank you. One in the southwest corner, one in the southeast corner of that parking lot. And then there's 1 lamppost on the north side of the property, just at the outside of the driveway entrance. Those lampposts will remain. They have been sufficient to light the parking lot till now for the same use. However, for more secure purposes, there's going to be some motion sensors on the 2 entrances with some floodlights that will be shielded down to the entrances. And then there'll be some shielded floodlights, motion sensors on the back of the building as well to add a little more security to the back parking lot. And also on that corner, that northeast corner, because now we have an accessible entrance there, we do have a light there as well to light that walkway. There is no other lighting proposed. At this time, there's no signage proposed either. We realize that is something that's going to have to come back, a sign permit, planning board, BAR, but right now, there's a focus on getting this open, up and operating. There's a New York State license that the owners have been granted from the state, and we're here really just to get the business open. What we have done for the comments from the building department, we have shown parking, we have shown aisle width. Is for the size of the building, 1,290 square feet, gross floor area, we're only really required 6 spaces. There are 10 provided, 2 accessible with a loading zone between them on the northeast side. There's shown on this, not on this plan, but I do show on an amended plan I emailed. Keller had requested, if you can get garbage truck to come in and out of there and that there would be private pickup. The applicant has talked to AAA and they would probably bring in a small vehicle, what I sized, and it does fit the turning radius is a triple axle garbage truck, which is the largest one that a municipality would normally use. That does fit coming in off the north exit, turning down left, turning down right and coming to the back there where that little horseshoe is on the bottom. They can make that turn in and out of there where that snow load area is, and then come back out again and pick up the garbage. In reality though, there's going to be only a 2-axle truck that comes in there. So we have more than enough room to do that with. As far as the size of the loading zone, Kellard had also asked me to increase that or increase the spaces. I increased the loading zone, so that would meet what their requirements were. And we really didn't have to shift much else. The modification to the back over there, there is now a chain link fence that runs along that border. There's also access where I show those 2 dotted or those 3 spaces that have been eliminated. The intention is to put up a rolling gate there. I have a detail on the same page. Basically, it's a galvanized chain link fence to match what's there. But that rolling gate would then separate that back half of the property from the proposed use of the parking lot and the retail establishment in the building. That note there, we can discuss that. But essentially, as far as the modifications to the site, that proposal would be a gate there, and then there would be a gate running along the north end of the property to the corner. And then down south of that to the south end of the property to the existing stone wall. So that gate, there would be a fence put up there to secure that back of the property. The property slopes up, I'm assuming you all know it, but it slopes up severely up towards the east side of the property. So as far as, having to put any security or anything back there, there's no need. And as far as, I make that point also because as far as any lighting is concerned, we do have proposed shielded fixtures, but there's nothing, no ambient light or transmissions going out past that site because of that hillside. So it really is sort of secured in there. Again, no modifications at the front of the building or the sidewalk. That gate would stay there of the driveway, open it for business, close it when business is closed. And as far as the function of the building, like I said, it's retail and nothing else really has changed. There were some other questions as far as in the Nelson Pope memo, which I'm assuming you received as well. Just to address those, first of all, it's an NC1 district, and I know there is a pre-existing front yard setback with this. It's less than the 10 feet, but it's actually an NC1 district. NC2 is not this category unless I have a different zoning map.
No, I mean, I have it in the first thing, but the second thing I was.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I didn't, there was something different. So there is a different setback in the NC2, which is why I want to make sure. So if there is anything required, which I don't think there is, it would be different. Okay. And then going down just to some of the site plan comments, I don't know that, this is again, a pre-existing use. It has functioned properly and successfully. As far as buffers, landscaping, additional lighting, things like that, planning schedules, we were not proposing anything. There is a significant buffer there. There's a drainage swale, there's shrubbery on the residential side, there's a hillside on the east and the south. So we were not proposing anything. I don't know if this board would require that, but it really is buffered naturally on its own already. And as far as any materials for fences, I mean, it's going to really match what's there. It's a galvanized chain link fence that we're proposing. There's a planter in the back, along the back of the building that runs the whole length of the back. That buffer that is on the other side of the sidewalk, between the asphalt and the sidewalk. The owner of the applicant does intend to beautify that, put some plantings and shrubbery in there to basically make the whole thing better than what it is now, hopefully, but just dress it up a little bit with some plants in the back. And of course, making the new door there, putting some new lighting, it's just all improvements. I don't know, there's other comments in here from Kellard that I addressed, like I said, on the plan. I did mention the garbage. As far as deliveries, there is no delivery truck that comes in and out of there that's sizable that would be an issue. It's going to be a basic normal SUV vehicle truck that comes in, temporarily delivers and leaves. So there's no reason necessarily for any special radiuses or zones to have that for deliveries. The parking requirements for, like I mentioned, we've got 4 extra spots. The intention, I believe, is to have 2 to 3 employees, possibly a manager. I mean, Peter's here to discuss the operations if you have questions about that, but we have more than enough parking for employees. And if there's a delivery truck that comes there temporarily for an hour or so and exchanges merchandise, it's not going to muddy up the side. As far as the operations, that's really what I came here to present, that building, that site, those site modifications. I know there are several other comments in here that address the whole site the site as a whole, and I know there probably would be questions. But as far as what we came here to present, I've sort of summed it up, and I don't know if you want to ask questions regarding that right now, or how you'd like to proceed.
Yeah, I mean, let's stay on the site plans. I think that's a lot of what we really need to talk about. I think my first question is just, is what's happening, you're showing us those rolling gates. We will talk a little bit what's going on the, left side of this drawing, but on the right side here, where we have those pavilion structures. What's going on that part of the property?
Right now, what was in there, there were some previous violations. It's all been cleared up. The vehicles have been taken out, whatever merchandise was in there taken out. The use of that property right now is unknown. Right now, we're not proposing anything back there. There was discussion with the landlord, and I think the landlord reached out to the village to inquire what the possibilities were. Right now, my client has a lease on the front half of that property on the west side from that gate over. It does not have any lease or use rights for the backside. So the owner was looking into what possibilities there may be for use of that. That spawned a conversation about, wait a second, is this an entire site plan application or just for the dispensary? I can tell you now that there still is no exact idea for what's being used. There's a possibility that the tenant may make a negotiation with the owner to take over that parcel in the back and use it as an accessory use to his business, which would come back and, there's a list of permitted and conditionally permitted uses here in the zone, in the zoning, which he would meet and whatever obviously can supplement his business or whatever. There's a conversation of that may take place. There's also a conversation that the owner may come in after the fact, once this is approved, and want to do something back there that is again permitted within the uses, and it would be a site plan revision. The intention would be a site plan revision at that time. Right now, there is no intended use for that property, which is hence why the reason we would block that off. The dispensary has a separate use over there. There's no access over there. And at which time they come to either a deal together or the owner decides to do something, it would be a separate application. That is the intention.
There are notes, right, on the plan,
Yeah,
if we scroll up. Which we're on this site plan that we're looking at, that does show.
Absolutely, and I amended that. You're right. That's my revised one, which I know didn't make it to you guys or to here to the digital copy, but I do take that off of there because I realized that was back when we were first discussing what was happening here.
But I think this project still needs to, it's all one property.
Right.
So the bottom line is, if this board moves forward with the retail, it'll be retail and nothing else on that site. And that's until such time as, so the rolling gate is just gonna be a rolling gate to like vacant.
Gate to nowhere.
Well, we want to be able to get back. There's still structures back there for emergency purposes, even fires, whatever. You'd want to be able to get back there. So I think the rolling gate is key, but to allow them to get back there, but also to not allow anyone from this business to be able to get back there as well. I think it serves a purpose. I wouldn't want to just leave it open. I also wouldn't want to shut it off.
No, I mean, we'll have to deal with the building department, how they want to deal with securing and like making sure the structures are no longer in use.
But it's not.
Right,
contemplated.
right now, I can tell you there's a pending court case for violations on this that have not been cleared up. So you're saying that the owner has cleared out the space and took care of the violations. That's actually, I don't know if he cleared them out. We'd have to confirm all of that, but as of now, he has a pending court case in town of Boston in court for using the property for a use that was not permitted. No site plan approval for that. So that has not been cleared up yet.
Okay, I can speak to them about that, or you can speak to that, but that, as far as this application, I understand you would not want to have any open violations, I'm assuming on a site, if we're asking for a site plan approval, so I get that part of it, and then maybe hopefully that could be a condition of the resolution, I don't know, you can decide that. But either way, the conversation I just had as far as not knowing what use is, that's accurate, and that's the current, you just had a conversation, over the last.
I think to add to what Valerie was talking about is that we don't really, when they're doing a site plan approval, they don't want to piecemeal what possibly could be there and what's going to happen with that property, with the rest of the property. I think it has to be established what right now in front of the board, what is going to happen with that portion of property. It has structures on it. It has been used for uses there for storage and materials and trucks and so forth, that has a history of doing that for quite a period of time right now. And there has to be some type of security or understanding what is going to happen with that portion of the property. And I don't know if the planning board I mean, I'll leave it up to the judgment of our land use attorney and to Valerie, but I'm not sure if they want to go forward with a site plan approval with kind of what's up in the air, what's gonna happen with the rest of that property. I think there would have to be some type of understanding as part of this, what is that section of property gonna be used as? Is it gonna be vacant? Is it gonna use it for something? What's gonna happen there?
That's a valid point, just to also piggyback off of that as a potential solution, you could include as a condition of approval that the use of the site is limited to that dispensary portion. You know, it's enforceable, so if something does occur in the other half, a violation could be issued. And if they do want to end up using it, they have to come back for an amendment. So that is an alternative.
That's exactly what I was hoping would be the case, because that's the reality.
We could ask for signage potentially on the site plan.
Absolutely.
Related to the fencing,
Absolutely.
Not to be
No
used,
vehicles,
something like.
Right.
Yeah, understood.
I would recommend, so what we're talking about tonight, I recommend at the next meeting,
Yeah.
the missions, fully show that, that the use is just gonna be for retail only for the entire site, because even the initial submission still specifically spoke about only that portion, but it would be for the entire site at this point.
Right, and I think just even having that on the site plan, not as a condition in a resolution, that might not be as readily available in the future.
May I ask, one thing to that exactly what you described was hoping what we would get to tonight, the solution, but, also that does not prohibit the owner or the applicant from deciding after this is done and closed up, that they would like to look into, speak with Joe and talk about what uses are accessory.
Right, and they can
viable.
come back for a
Yeah,
new
develop
site
it,
plan.
like you said, come back for a new site plan. Okay, because even though you're talking about putting notes in there, I didn't want to make sure that was recorded somewhere. For,
This is,
perpetuity.
we're talking about the site plan,
Yeah.
you're applying for a site plan, we're reviewing the site plan,
Yeah.
and one of the things that we're noting right now is that there's a portion of the site that needs to be. Clearly, it needs to be very clear what's being allowed on the site right now based on this application. If something in the future would be reviewed in the future.
I understand, thank you. That's
And I think also the other thing too is the existing structures. Like, we're gonna need, I think the board's gonna be interested in knowing how those are gonna be secured, are you gonna let them become dilapidated? Are you gonna demolish them? What's gonna take place on that site?
Could we
you know.
could we do something where there's an inspection, required inspections annually or something like that, or biannually, I don't know.
Well, I mean, this is a site plan, so part of
Yeah.
it is to improve, it's just not to leave buildings vacant. So I think that's something that you're gonna need to talk to the property owner and come back with, to the board.
Well, it sounds like I can talk to property owner, it sounds like are you asking me for a use for that before we move forward?
No, but I mean,
How are they gonna be, if they're not going to be used, how are they gonna be maintained? If you just don't them to fall into disrepair because they're not being used and all of a sudden becomes an eyesore or a
Right.
hazard.
How will they be secured, maintained, so I can put together some sort of plan?
Right.
Okay, that's what I want to make sure, okay, got it. I'll talk to the owner about that, yes, now I understand what you're asking.
And they're not contemplated to be accessed on a regular basis.
Not
That
right now.
gate is for emergencies only.
The gate is for emergencies only until an application comes before you for a new use for the back, whether that be with, joint between the owner and tenant, the tenant takes over the lease of the property, I don't know, but yeah, that will absolutely come forward.
And I would recommend, I think on the site plan, indicating, signage or, maybe some other kind of, plastic bollards or some other, security measure to prevent, regular vehicular access.
There'll be,
Emergency,
yeah,
occasional.
the signage makes sense, but yeah, as far as emergency, that's the only thing I'd be concerned with, but yeah, whatever the board
Removable
recommends.
bollard or something that might be a little, I'm just trying to think about
The fire truck needs to get in, it'll.
a fire truck that needs to get in,
Yeah.
run over a plastic bollard.
But either way, I understand your point, yeah, whatever the board recommends.
Yeah, I mean, my other question, I'll open this up to the board as well, but, it's just regarding lighting. Is there a specific lighting plan? Can we just kind of look at how what's being added and, being sensitive to how that might. It's one of the things that I'm thinking about when I'm just looking at the site plan is that, for years it's been a retail, landscape, nursery. Now it's, which operates at, certain times of the day in certain ways. Now this is going to be we'll talk about hours of operation too. I've got some questions about that.
Sure.
But, lighting is, I think, going to be more impactful on this site and just looking at how that might impact some of the adjacent population.
E4 or A103, I believe it is, on the bottom right. Last page.
I told you, don't praise me too early.
Ah,
So I'm gonna mess it up.
Last page on the bottom right. That's your No, not that one, next, is it the one, that's not the last page, sorry, yeah. There you go. So I don't have a full site lighting plan is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I have this plan, electrical plan. So on the back, which is the top, there, that's facing the parking lot. There would be two floodlights there, that would be a motion sensor and also be able to operate from inside as well. Those are just really to illuminate the parking lot and the parking spaces. Again, there's a hillside there, so nothing's really shining out past that, but they would be shielded to the extent that they only illuminate up to that fence. On the left-hand side there in the left corner, there's another, what I have is a sconce, more like a wall pack sconce that shines down for illuminating the accessible sidewalk. And then coming around the corner over there, I've got a light on the front door, which would illuminate that whole area as well. It has a light on it as well. We're just replacing it in kind to make it look newer and nicer. On the right side over there, which is the south end entrance, we have two sconces there on the side. Those are because that's basically a secure entrance for the managers and for deliveries, so we wanted some lighting over there as well. That is facing the hillside and the retaining wall on the site as well, so it's really not bleeding out anywhere. We're not proposing any other lighting on the front. And there, like I said, there are 3 tall lamp posts already on the site, 2 on the south of the parking lot and 1 on the north.
We go to the site plan just to see that, because it's a
Yeah.
big parking lot. I'm just,
Absolutely.
balancing between making sure that it's safely lit and not lit in a way that would be obtrusive to, especially I'm thinking of the properties to the north.
Okay, so if you look in the north, if you zoom in right on the top of that property, you'll see right where I say end of fence, right above the word of, in the middle, there's a light, that's a light. So that's lighting your entrance right there, and it's also lighting that sort of back horseshoe portion, maybe even the first couple spots that we have. So it's a tall pole. So that's been there, that's illuminating that sort of half of the
Is it like
site.
a Cobra light or a deck? Is that?
It's right there,
Yeah,
actually.
I see it, yeah.
You can see it right there. It's a pack. It's about 16 feet high, right on the grass there. Do you see it or?
Oh, maybe I'm seeing the wrong thing. I thought.
Right, the grass is right there on the left side of the driveway when you come in.
Yeah, okay, it looked like it was further back, but no. I
The
think-
foreground, no, it's right in the
It's
foreground,
16
right there.
feet
Yep.
about, right?
Yeah, and then there's, if you actually, maybe if you pan over your picture south, you still can't see it or?
I don't know whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright. That's,
It's right there.
yeah.
Over the second.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's, I know, the gates is deceiving. I think if you pan all the way to the right, you can see, maybe see the other two as well. No, you can't on that picture, sorry, but on the site plan, you can see. They're the same light fixtures and they're, maybe, no, they're actually the end of the parking lot. You can't see them from that picture. Oh, maybe from there you can. But again, they're the same type of fixtures and they are, there's 2 of them down there. So it's not really, it's not a very bright site to begin with, and all we're really doing is adding secure lighting for that parking lot area, which is going to be the use for the dispensary. We're not trying to illuminate the backyard. We're not trying to do anything back there.
So other than the lighting on the structure itself, there's no additional lamp lighting or posts or bollard?
No, there's no additional lighting. The only thing that may occur and when we come back for a sign permit is something depending, because I know there's restrictions on height, size, what could be in the building, what could be on the pole. If there's a low lying sign somewhere, there might be some site lighting, but that'll all be part of the application. It won't be to illuminate outside the signage. But that may come later. But no, there's no other landscape lighting proposed right now.
All right, open this up to the board for questions and thoughts.
I have a couple of questions. So, can we leave
Oh, yeah.
the picture up for a second, please? So just to be really clear, that double fence there is the only entrance to the property. People coming to use the dispensary will only go into that entrance on the north. The staff will go on the entrance to the rear on the south. There's no fence along the side of the building, right? Is that
Sorry.
proposed? Is there the facing Highland, so that
Yep.
from the entryway on the driveway? Is there going to be a fence that runs alongside a building?
There's a fence right there from the corner of the building, the left.
Am I
side.
not seeing it?
You're not seeing it yet. Some of
Okay.
those essential things. that
Because I
we're-
guess I'm wondering a little bit about security with those windows just kind of there on the
The
street
whole,
front.
the whole site is actually fenced off. On the right side over there,
Okay.
there's a fence that goes across to the wall, and then on the left side, there's that gate and fence.
Yeah, but.
You're talking about these
The building,
buildings.
that's facing
Oh.
Highland, those windows, which seem.
There's no fence blocking the windows, no, the.
Yeah, so I guess it's not maybe so much a site as a BAR question and an operational question about security of the property.
So I can actually, I may be able to help you out there because the applicant probably has information about security. I know there's gonna be a system put up.
Okay, but before we jump to that, I also, for me, it's a little hard to tell from the site plan in your description, you know, exactly what this property would look like. I mean, it doesn't sound like you're doing much to it, but it would be helpful maybe to see a rendering with landscaping and the parking lot and the building itself once it's sort of been addressed architecturally.
I don't think they're proposed, they said they're not proposing.
Right, from that
anything.
picture,
That's
right
what you're
there, that
gonna
we
say.
just shown before, I could say honestly, that's
That's
going to be the
exactly what
appearance.
it's gonna look
In
like.
the back, and there's a planting bed there that will be, listen, if there is nothing planned, honestly, we're not changing the aesthetics of the front of the building.
Not
The roof is all in
painting,
good shape.
restuccoing, not doing anything.
Did you really want to make?
Eliminating that window, correct? That small window. I was trying to.
Yes,
account
oh, I'm
for-
sorry.
No, on
No.
the,
No, that's not one.
yeah, the lower ground floor. That guy.
Oh, I thought it was the
You have a
one
plan?
on the
Do I
back.
have that for a minute? Sorry.
We should be clear on this.
No, I have that window staying. No, that's all
You
right.
do, okay. I
That's
think
staying.
that you were eliminating.
No, that's staying. We're only limiting the one window in the back, where that wall comes in, right there. And you,
Where?
yeah, right there, that wall. See that wall on the top comes in where that small window? There's a door there,
Right
Yeah.
there.
right?
Yeah.
That's it.
I was
Um,
right.
Oh, that
You were right.
Yeah.
Vindicated.
So, no, that's really the only change to the outside of the building. What I'm saying, really,
Yeah.
as far as landscaping, buffering, I mean, the whole site is buffered and landscaped already. The only thing on that left-hand side is the residential, but there's a hill and a swale and trees that are mature. We weren't really looking to try and change the look of the building. Don't want to make it stand out, also don't want to make it blend in. It's just leaving it, you know, what's been successful, and what the people driving by and what the other neighbors have seen for all these years. You know, if it needs a paint job, then that's a different story, but if you feel that way, but no, really.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just sort
Yeah.
of generally, okay.
And as far as the parking, I mean, as far as rendering, what it would look like under full operation. If you have been out there before in past years when it was operating, there's cars, basically those same parking spaces I have shown are where the cars have been parked in the past. On the back of the building. That's pretty much, it's, like I said, this really is maintaining almost the exact operation of what was there before, with the exception of nothing in the back.
The fence, I mean, the fence is.
Sorry, it's a chain link fence, but there's already one there and we're just kind of putting a gate there across it. But yes, you're right.
There's an existing chain link fence back there?
There's a fence, yes, they're along the, but it's just.
Yeah, you can,
the
the
pavilions
it's
is
hard
here.
to make out in these photos, but yeah.
Yeah, it's there.
Well,
But by all means.
Yeah, I
and
would
the
be
sign-
interested in the security and
Sure.
the signage.
I just want to pivot off of that. I believe as part of the cannabis application to the state, the applicant has to provide the proposed security plan, which includes location of the security cameras.
That's what, yeah, that's why I say there is a full security plan for New York State compliance, which maybe if it might comfort the board to hear him explain it, is that all right? Or-
Traditionally, applicants have submitted like where the cameras will be located, just so the board can visually see the location of the security cameras. If you can
Okay.
provide that information, just for the record.
Okay, yeah, we have to address some things with, like you said, with signage and no entry and things like that, so we come back, we can do that then, is that all right, or?
Right, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Can we actually, all right, yeah, you can see the fence there. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
there's the
good.
fence, the posts, yeah.
Will it still
that
say
gate
fish
is-
cut flowers
Oh, I see the fence.
along the front? Is that part of the fence structure or was that added?
No, that's all there, that's some cool wrought iron lettering that's going
Yeah,
on there.
oh, so
That-
that's.
That's gonna stay.
That'll stay, yeah, it's a little charm, but.
Yeah, yeah,
it's-
no,
So that
no
will
problem with that.
still work.
Look at it.
Thanks, Angelica. Can we just look north? Because this is actually kind of one of the things that I've been, yeah, there we go. Oops, that's a great image. So, realizing this, when I was talking about lighting and kind of changes to the use and this, presumably gonna be open in the evening and not just during the day. What's being planned to, shield that house to the north, from this?
From the
Project.
lighting or from the?
From the, yeah, from the lighting, I think from the lighting and I think a little bit of both, just, some sort of, screening.
Well, there's, right now, there, you look at the lighting right there, that's a better picture of the light post, you can see it right there elevated above that dormer.
Yeah.
It's shining towards the parking lot, it's shining south, that's the way it's designed, so as not to, shine off the site, so as far as lighting, One of the lights is going into that little dormer, that little shed roof there at the entrance, you can see there. That's gonna be underneath that. Again, it's not shining out. And the other one is gonna be a shielded pack on the corner for the walkway, which is not shining out either. So as far as any light, there's not gonna be any more light visible. They'll be on the building, just as if they'd have sconce on their house and it would be visible. So it's not a shining out for, ambient light. As far as the screening from the business, I don't know that for that distance, we're talking about the code has anything specific, and this has been a pre-existing use, so if you're asking, there wasn't an intention to do anything more than those shrubs and those evergreens in the back, and the distance separation. Again, we're not changing anything, the entrance is the same, the looks are the same, the gate's the same, the driveway's the same. We were going with what was working.
Where's the lot line?
The line comes from about from the telephone pole, I believe that's swale.
The gravel there?
Yeah, right, yeah. The swale itself is not on the property, so it's just inside that pole. If you look, if you get a picture, it's right where that curb is almost, on the left-hand side. It comes from about where the end of the swale hits the telephone pole, and it runs northwest from that picture, which goes into the trees. So that's where the property line is. So that whole area right there is the neighbor's property.
I just think I'm, that this is gonna be used probably more hours and different hours and having some additional screening there. In fact, the image we were looking at before, there were some taller trees in the background that were, the sort of other property just east of, or just east of wherever that lot line was.
The only,
Back to that vantage point.
the only thing is, and I'd say, at this point, I don't know
Yeah.
if the applicant's gonna argue over some shrubs and things like that, but well, if you look at the house is elevated, so, and the grass right there is the only place that we can really plant before going on the neighbor's property, that grass patch. Anything there that's plantable at this point, without bringing a crane and a large truck, is not really gonna shield anything there for years, but before it grows, because of the elevation of that house. So I don't know what it would accomplish, except for to Ms. Aronson's comment before about, the beauty of the site. I mean, it could help to enhance that, but it's definitely not gonna shield anything, and I don't know what we could plant there that would for, like I said, for years.
Well, quite,
I don't know, it just seems very exposed there.
well, propose our hours of operation.
Can I ask Peter to come
Yeah.
speak to that? Is that all right? Sure.
Hello, good evening.
Great.
Hi. So the proposed hours of operation, we're thinking of doing 9 till 9, Monday through Thursday, 9 to 10 on Friday and Saturday, and 10 to 6 on Sunday. Which is fairly in line with what most other retail operations are doing. We also were thinking about maybe doing one early morning to try and capture some people on their way to work, maybe Thursday around 8 a.m. But that would be with, the board's approval, whatever you guys suggest or advise or approve.
Are there any limitations in the code in terms?
I mean, no, but I mean, I can look to see what we've done with the other couple canvases,
Consistent.
right, to make it sure consistent.
Okay,
And then while I'm here, do you want me to talk about the security?
yeah, please.
Okay, so I believe that we've identified 28 cameras. I do have that, that sheet that shows where they are. Majority of them are inside, there's some outside, to capture the parking lot. There's also a license plate scanner. So that way we can, know who's coming in, and that way if anything gets flagged, it gets sent over to the police, so we got, an issue or a problem. The cameras themselves are a New York State approved. They're actually one of the top approved. They're one of the most expensive ones. Also, it's completely AI, all artificial intelligence with humans behind it. So the AI will know, okay, at 9 o'clock, their doors closed. At 9:15, there's a person walking around the building. What's going on here? They don't belong here. It'll flag that. It'll shoot it over to a human. The human will look at that and say, oh, that's Peter. He belongs here. We see him every day. Or they'll say, this is an anomaly. We don't belong. They get on the phone 911. They stay on the phone with them until the police arrive and they handle it. So we've got 24/7 monitoring, both real time with AI and humans. It also does a lot on the inside. There's like some enhancements that we've signed up for, so we can see if somebody purchases something, we can see how many items they bought. It says they bought 4 items, but we're looking at the camera and they got handed 5. The AI will flag that and say we have an issue with this. Same if they purchased 5 and only got handed 4, be able to identify there was an issue. So it's very, it also looks at how long customers are in the store, so we can maximize efficiency. We don't want people being in the store for hours. It's not a hangout, it's not a bar. It's a retail operation. We want them in and out, quickly and effectively and with as best customer satisfaction as we can do and we can give, but we're trying to turn people around. We don't want them loitering. Ossining did not approve on-site consumption. Some states, some municipalities did, Ossining did not. So we're very much a no smoking on premise. We will be very strict on that. We will enforce that. We care very much about our neighbors. We also care very much about the children. I'm a father of 6 kids. I care about keeping this away from children. That's why we're doing very nondescript building. We're not painting it green. We're not putting, cannabis leaves everywhere. It's a very clean looking building. It's meant to appeal to a higher end client. We're looking for middle-aged, older, 21-year-old. They're going to smoke. They're going to get it anywhere. They're going to smoke it. They're not going to care. We're not really aiming for that. They come in, we'll service them, obviously, but our intention is to be more of a professional environment and with a very subdued look. Nothing that any kid on a bus driving by would know what's going on in there unless their parents tell them early. They won't know. There's nothing indicating that.
While you're here, can you just talk about the delivery process here? Because I know that's
For us to receive deliveries?
I think for both. 'Cause I'm assuming there's gonna be some sort of,
Yeah.
You're gonna be delivering, home delivery.
Yeah. So there's 2 things. So one, for the deliveries, they are delivered in like Sprinter vans or smaller, so there's no big 18-wheelers, there's not pallets or stuff coming in. Deliveries happen a couple times per week. We stagger the deliveries and the cash pickups, so that way they can't be monitored and nobody can say, oh, Tuesday at 3, we know that they take their cash out, or Wednesday at 4, they get a huge delivery. They'll be spread out based on need, not based on, what timing is efficient for us. With regard to delivering product, so New York State allows for us to load the vehicle with a minimum of 20% of items pre-sold. So if we've sold 5 items, that constitutes 20%, and we can carry another 80% of inventory. And then that inventory is tracked real time. Let me take one step back. Inventory is tracked from seed to sale. So once something goes into the ground and begins to grow, it's barcoded. And from that point until the point that it actually reaches a consumer's hand, it's completely barcoded. So we know where it is at all times. The vehicle itself will have tracking on it. The software that we use does the most efficient route. It's a nondescript vehicle. We can't have like a Cybertruck with a big leaf on the side of it, like everyone knows what it is. It's got to be a very nondescript boring vehicle, which it will be. It's got tracking on there. It's got a safe in the trunk that has to be secured and locked. The ID has to be presented, at the time of purchase, time of delivery has to be given to them. And yeah, that's basically part of the delivery.
Is there a spot where either the loading of the vehicle or the unloading of the vehicle is that going to be happening?
Yeah, on the site,
outdoors?
because we have extra parking spots for employees and for delivery vehicles. So yeah, that delivery vehicle will be loaded and then sent out. And ideally, we would like to have enough pre-orders that we can put enough inventory on there. So that way, when somebody makes an order, we know what's out there already. So the system is wise enough to say, this is something we can have immediately, because it's already out on the road, right? So we can have that to you quicker. Or if you want something that's not stocked, we'll have to schedule it for, for tomorrow or for another time. There's also there's a lot of online ordering capabilities to help streamline our process. So I think somewhere we had said curbside, I think at the last meeting, it's not curbside in the sense of like McDonald's where we come out and hand you, cannabis. You can organize with, through the website where 10 a.m. is your pickup time. So it just expedites the process. You still have to come inside, you still have to show your ID multiple times, get scanned when you walk in. I don't know if it was explained or not, but we actually have a waiting area in the front. So when people come in, they're going to be greeted by a hostess or, similar to a hostess. Right on that side there, yeah. Their ID is scanned, they wait. When the store has enough room for them to come in, they're buzzed in, they come inside, that's a secure room. Once they finish, they go out the side door, out the top door, back through the waiting area. So we have a nice flow of traffic, we have it very secure, it's all locked. And then on the other side.
Sorry, I was explaining.
Oh, okay.
Keep going down. There you go. Sorry, that's it.
Yeah, so they'll walk in on that little piece that's on the left there that comes out. So they're going to walk into that reception area. And then the entrance into the retail space is just south of the area right there. They're going to walk in, the registers are far to the right, the vault is on the bottom right corner. The office is on top right, bathroom, staff area, and then the rest is all retail. So then they'll come in through the bottom, they'll do their thing, they'll come out through the top, and then they'll go out through the store, out through that. So that keeps, it keeps the flow happening and it also keeps everything safe and make sure that we have the IDs and all. With regard to the back side of things where the vault is, so that's gonna have like a man trap in it. So when one door is open, the other doors cannot open, so nobody can walk in and then just start accessing the vault or walking into the office where the IT and the cash is stored. So those will all be, you'll have to really we'll have to know you're in there to get you out of there, right? So nobody can just walk in. So employees can come in, they can buzz out, or they can go through. They also can't access the vault. That's only for vault employees and management. Same with the office. Like I said, that's where we keep all of our brains, all of our AI stuff, all of our computers and our IT, our cash safes and main computers like that. So that whole area is exceptional here as well.
Thank you.
Into the
I'm
vault
sorry?
area.
Again?
I'm just looking at the bottom, right there, the windows and vault.
Yes, that's what I was.
So,
So to Michael's point,
yeah, the windows are gonna stay, but they're gonna be covered on the inside. So aesthetically from the outside, it'll look the same, but it'll be blocked off and they'll probably have some, I don't know, maybe blue bars. I'm not quite sure how
And
that.
the windows
It's
also have to be,
yeah.
for anything showing merchandise has to be kind of tinted from the outside.
Oh, so,
anyway, right?
so the vault itself, like there'll be you can't see inside the vault, but even the other ones, I believe that you were asking, about like being both see-through or having the windows or having access to the building itself. New York State dictates that the window itself needs to be translucent or opaque. You're not allowed to look inside. That's for kids primarily, right? So somebody walking by will look and they can't see anything. They maybe see colors or, like the faint reflection of people moving around there, but product is not visible. Everything that's in the store has to be approved by New York State. So there's nothing with like cartoons or anything that's meant for children. They won't see it. They're not allowed in the store. Even if they somehow get into the reception area, they still can't see product. It's just a bunch of chairs, a couple of TVs and a lady telling them to get out, right? You're not 21 out of here.
But
So they won't be able to get in. Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt,
Sure.
but so the two windows that are in the
Mhm.
sort of display area,
Yeah.
the shopping area, if you
Mhm.
will.
I
Those-
believe,
I understand they'll be okay, but in terms of security, will you have like inside something?
yeah, I think they're gonna be there. I believe that they're to be blocked off and then there'll be some sort of
Were you
security.
talking about the vault or you're talking?
No,
about-
no, like the
Talking about
windows
the
to the
windows
bottom
and
here. Like something to
the-
protect from somebody being able to break in the window and climb
Right,
inside.
right.
Well, our security should hopefully do a good job of identifying that as well. But even if somebody is to get inside the space after hours, everything is secured in the vault.
The vault.
The vault is on
Yeah.
the foundation. There's no borrowing. We have to, you're not allowed to put it where there's a basement to prevent against borrowing, somebody coming up through there.
Oh, I
So,
see.
yeah, so they can't, you can't get in there.
Yes, everything's in the vault. The windows, the New York State doesn't require that you have the whole secure perimeter from breaking in, but all the merchandise is put into a vault, so there's nothing.
Right.
As it would be as we break into a residence at night, hopefully things will be safe. But that's the case. Yeah.
And we can't arm the system until the vault door is actually shut. So we would know immediately if there was.
And then is there gonna be a security guard on premises?
So security guard is not required by New York State. We're gonna look at that as on a need basis. So probably on our busy nights or our later nights, we'll opt to have one there. It's an armed security. It's permitted by New York State. So we would likely have that on the busy nights. On like a Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock, I don't know if necessary, but if we're busy all the time and there's huge, a lot of people coming in and out and we feel the need for that, 100%. 100%.
And then just in terms of access to the site from managers and employees and deliveries, is there gonna be signage saying that those sites or parking spots are reserved for deliveries and staff so that?
Yeah, I think we're identifying what 3 or 4.
For staff and we will, as part of the update, staff and for delivery, yeah, we have the overage already, so.
Right, so I believe that we're required for 6 spots and we have 10, so we have enough.
I just was thinking to differentiate them from visitor parking.
Definitely,
the
right.
business side.
Absolutely, yep.
And I think also what we can do as part of the update is on the side of the building, the southwest side, southeast side of the building, we can also put a sign. Employees only, going down those stairs, whatever,
Yeah.
Right, that'll be an employee-only door, it'll be locked, and it'll only be accessible by employees, whether it's with a key or with a key card, I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, what are we doing? Are we doing key cards back there, or are we just sort of?
Everything's key fob.
Key fob, so everything will be key fob, so employees will have a key fob, and then, again, let's say an employee drops their key fob and somebody picks it up, they're gonna walk in, they're gonna be stuck in a room with 4 doors and they can't get out, so they're gonna have to leave. So it's very secure, it's intentionally secure, over secure, I would say. But our intention is to have a nice, well-running store, not have problems. We don't want problems. Everyone has no problems. Like, we don't need a new one.
That's the whole point of the campus.
Yes, we want our problems to up in smoke.
Got the whole practice. Other board comments on the,
Question, because you were speaking before about the two windows that are by the vault, because they're not being closed, right?
The
But,
windows themselves, like from the outside of the building,
Yeah.
they'll be blocked on the inside.
okay. is
Yeah,
that-
and there's gonna be metal, like, so the way.
Okay, it's not just gonna be like sheer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's security mesh that goes around the entirety of the vault
Mhm.
and in the ceiling, and then there's also 3 cameras in there.
Mhm.
Maybe 2 cameras, I think we might have revised it. We were gonna do an eye in the sky and then do 2 cameras, but they actually have like very wide angle cameras that will capture everything, so I think doing 2 corners. I can include that with the whatever submission. is there.
But in theory, it shouldn't be a concern of someone getting in that way.
They can't, no.
By the way, the state has to approve their security plan and their license, so the state's already. discussed it.
Right, and we're using, so we went basically directly to New York State and looked at all their vendors, and then we did our own analysis on which ones were the best. I spoke to probably 300 vendors about everything, and chose the ones that I thought were the best. Our point of sale, system is a company called All Leaves. All Leaves owns BioTrack. BioTrack is a New York State required system that must be used to report inventory, which inventory reporting and sales reporting, I think, has to happen twice per day. So New York State knows everything that we're doing, everything that we're selling. Those numbers are live updates, and our system automatically pushes up to New York State.
obviously, for those vault windows from our end, just since this is also a BAR application, it's just understanding how that glass will be treated. Are you replacing the windows? I'm assuming it'll be the same reflective,
Yes,
or
using
opaque.
opaque
that you're
film
having
from
on
the
the other
inside.
windows facing Rivers.
They should look identical to the other 2 sets of windows. Yep.
Right. Okay. Other board comments on this? I think this would be a good opportunity to open the public hearing on the application. Can I have a motion to do that?
Michael Aaron's motion to open a public hearing.
Carly, be a second the motion.
Any objections to that? I see none. We're now in public hearing. Is there anybody here to speak to this application? Your guys, all right, awesome. So you actually come up and introduce yourself, and so we can put your name on the record, and there's a sign-in sheet if you didn't sign in earlier.
Not for an application,
Was that?
it's not for an application,
It's
it's for what's going in at green time.
yeah, no, you're speaking, yeah, so this is the public's opportunity to speak to this application, so we just want to make sure that for the record that we have, it's a sign-in sheet for anybody who speaks, yeah. You can just kind of state, where your address for the record, and then let us know your thoughts on the application.
Okay. My name's Amy and I live at 9-5 Brook Club. I'm literally from here to this woman. I can walk to the dispensary. And it just bothers me because I don't know a lot about dispensaries, but I don't know what kind of people that are gonna come there for the hour. I don't know. To me, I think I personally don't like it. I mean, I'm more concerned for the safety of people just wandering to our property. I mean, I'm here, dispensary is here. There's no shrubs by us. There's no gate by us. So how do I know someone's not gonna just walk on our property? That concerns me, the safety issue. And, I don't know, I'm only speaking for myself, but I'm one of the homes that's in your picture, so.
Can you orient us where your property is in
Sure.
relationship to the dispensary? Because it's a little, I'm not sure I know.
Okay. See that house? I'm across the street.
Oh, I see
I'm
that.
directly across
I
the
see.
street.
Oh,
right
okay.
That's my house.
Oh, that's, okay.
And it concerns me. When the nursery was open and my husband was around, we used to walk to the nursery because there's no fence. There's nothing there. So how are they gonna guarantee me? I'm really sorry. How can I get guarantees that no one's gonna walk on my property? I can't, and I don't want floodlights in my house. You gotta get the neighborhoods feeling for this. That's how I feel. I'm more, for safety and stuff.
Sure. I mean, this is the opportunity, the neighborhood's opportunity to speak. This is why you're here. So,
Yeah, I mean, I'm really sorry. I know they want to do this, but I think other things could be there besides a dispensary. I mean, I'm sure I like what he has to say about the safety, but I don't need floodlights. I want to know something's gonna be more secure. I'm afraid someone's gonna walk on my property. Because it's not secure back there. I've lived here for almost 30
Is
years.
there currently a fence between that
Nope.
property and yours? I'll let the applicants.
Yeah, no worries.
Answer in a second, but yeah.
There's no fence. There never has been. When Green Thumb Nursery was there used to be a bunch of shrubs. And then he cut them down, the nursery.
There were
There's nothing there,
shrubs.
like right in there maybe?
Yeah, like right, see where those two tall pines are? There used to be, and the little guy, there used to be a bunch of pine trees, so you never really saw us. But then, I don't, for whatever reason, Green Thumb decided to take down the shrubs.
And that was just, I think we were just talking about the property line being actually,
And
yeah.
I'm concerned because there is no fence. I can walk from my backyard down the hill that's open. I don't know, the woody area, right into their place. There's gotta be, if you're gonna do this, there's gotta be some better security.
I'll let
That no one is going to walk on my lawn. I
Yeah.
mean,
No, we'll open that up to the applicant and see what their plan is to.
because that's what I'm concerned about.
No, for sure.
So you want me to sign in over here?
Yes, please.
Sure.
Maddie's the sign, I believe.
Spins are.
But,
Thank
you
you,
know.
thank you. Is there anybody else we wanted to speak tonight?
My mom.
Okay. We're getting all together.
I agree, but I'll just go on.
Sure.
Do I need to sign too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll sign in.
Our house, as you saw, was like right there, and anytime we had the garbage out, you could see like the whole property.
Yeah,
Like even like one like where the cars are, like I don't know what they have behind there. But when they're doing construction there, you could hear it, you could see everything. They used to have shrubs. It'd be nice if they put the shrubs back, because then like it would feel safer in a sense, like if we can't see them, like try to get in. Like we used to have a neighbor that like lived across the street from us that moved. He showed me like that, how easy it is to just step like
mhm.
on like some way beside our complex to get into Green Thumb Nursery. So like it's an easy access point. And hypothetically, if the hours are 9 to 9 or 9 to 10, yes, there's no smoking on the front premises, which is great because that smell could come over to our complex. That's what my mom and I were concerned about at first.
Because I get very, very bad headaches.
So hearing that made us feel better. However, now if there's no security guards, like if they have security guards, great. If they don't, then hypothetically, what would happen if Joe Schmo decides, okay, I want to take a tour around Ossining and go through like a wooded area towards the Brook Club? How is that gonna be protected? If that makes any sense.
We understand. Yeah. Thank you.
I signed in.
Okay.
I signed in.
We have a.
We do have a hand. Okay, so let's bring the hand in. Same instructions, except you can't sign in. So we're gonna bring in, I think, Lisa.
Lisa, looks like.
And again, Lisa, just as the folks who are here did, if you can just introduce yourself, your place of residence, and then let us know what your thoughts are on the application.
Hi, my name is Christopher Trowitz. I'm on my wife's laptop, which is why it's but I'm actually Amy's neighbor. I'm in 9-3 Brooklyn, your next door neighbor. Sorry I couldn't be there in person, Amy. But I just wanted to echo her same concerns. My wife and I are very concerned about security, about floodlighting, coming into our property. And also, there's a lot of mention of these AI cameras, which I would like to know how far they're actually going to capture, because I'm concerned about those also capturing our property. I'm also on the board here at the Brook Club. We are an HOA. And I don't believe where they're saying the property line is correct. It's not the curb of the parking lot. It's much further back, on the north side at least. I can't speak for the rest of the property. But yeah, it's most of those shrubs that you're seeing in those pictures are not on the Brook Club's property, and that's why they were removed by the previous owner.
I remember back in 2009, we had a tree fall down at our house, and we had a huge debate if the tree was on Green Thumb Properties line or the Brook Club's property line. And I remember, like, let's say like this is Green Thumb and you're our house, the tree was right here. And so like, I have to say estimately, like, I think the more the property line is
How would you say where the property line would be?
I think the property lines, I'm not sure where.
Well, we have a, we have a
We
survey.
have this is a survey here, so, and I certainly can't speak to what's happening in the past, but what I do want to do is give let the applicant respond to these concerns, specifically relating to, access across the property lines, but also regarding screening, which I think is something that we brought up earlier, and how to provide a little more visual privacy. I think both in, and I think what the caller is saying is visibility out. So I think that those are important questions, and we want to make sure that the applicant understands what those concerns are and sees we can see how they might respond to that. Right,
Okay.
thank you.
Chris, is that it for you?
Yes, yeah, I'm good.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't see any other hands for the moment. Can we, all right, I'll bring the applicant back here just to respond. I think specific, I know we talked about some of these issues before. I don't think I realized there was no current fence there, but it looks like if we can talk about what's shown on your site plan, then maybe we can just revisit the question we were talking about before about screening.
Sure. You mind bringing up the site plan again?
Sure.
So the north side of the site plan, basically the buffer area that we're talking about, between Brook Club and the building. Okay, so if you can zoom in, just in the top portion of there. Okay, so that swale that you see right there, that drainage swale is just at the northern furthest drawing, lines right there, that whole thing. That obviously, we'll go back in a second and take a look at the pictures, but right now I just want to show you. So there's a 10-foot setback from the property line. You can see I have drawn 10 foot from the curb, the little horseshoe curb on the property to the property line is 10 feet. So that if you imagine just extrapolating, there's another 10 feet to the swale, another 10 feet, maybe 8 feet of the swale. And then you look at the pictures later and you'll see there's another 30 or 40 feet from that swale to the properties over there.
And we're talking about the swale, we're talking about that gravel bed.
The gravel bed,
yeah. Photos, just.
So you're talking about 50 to 60 feet from the curb to where the hill starts to go up. So what, as far as what plantings or shrubs took place over there, I don't know. I can't speak to what was removed, what was there before, but there's a large grass hill area that is not part of this applicant's property. The gentleman, Christopher, is right. What I just explained before, that we're starting at the curb was a little accurate. I was kind of looking at the picture, but you can see right there where the corner of the property is actually set in almost up towards where the entrance gate is. So that corner right there runs through, and everything below that up to the parking area is grass. So there is an opportunity, yes, for shrubs, landscaping on this applicant's property. But again, what may have been removed back over there is not on the property, and anything that could be put in this parcel right there is not going to screen those houses. But not to say that there's any type of landscaping or something we can't come forth if this board feels important to beautify that area, but nothing's really going to screen those houses. But more importantly, because safety and security is the concern, on this plan, we show a chain link fence running. May I approach just a point? Is that all right?
There isn't a chain link, not in our property.
They're
Oh, they're adding one?
Yeah, there's a fence right here that runs the gate that runs along the driveway. And it comes to the corner of the property. We're taking it from the corner of the property right there. We're running east along this area, right along the back of the parking, across the entire parking lot, back again to the south part of the property. If you go down to here and coming across into here to where the fence picks up again. So we are enclosing with a 6-foot high chain link fence.
Even that dirt area that's behind, which is not part of him?
Well, that's not part of him.
Yeah, but how is that gonna be, is that gonna be secure?
That's not gonna be accessible. It won't be
Yeah.
accessible from this site.
One of the things that we talked about at the top of this meeting was addressing that area. Currently, they're showing for a closed off area, so they're severing their site in half.
Okay.
So, and it won't be accessible from the side. Once you get into the back of the parking lot, you come in that gate, there's a 6-foot high chain link fence around the entire parking lot.
And then Steve, also, I'm sorry, they have accessory slats that will go into the chain link fences, so that will add a layer of, protection, visible protection. A 6-foot fence will, prevent somebody from getting over it unless they're, allowed to climb. But if you want to try to also limit the visibility, right? So we can put 6-foot slats in there. So then the fence itself, becomes relatively opaque. We own a restaurant and our back area has a chain link fence. We put red slats in there because the building is red and it makes like a cover, so that way people in the parking lot really can't see where it's going. So it is some protection, and then also, I'm sorry. And then also to address, Chris, I believe it was, not Lisa. With regard to the AI, so asking about what the cameras will see. The cameras are set up to see the parking lot. Beyond that, like, I don't know if they're picking up, houses in the background or what have you. But we could tell them to program it that if we have a fence hopper or somebody behind the fence somehow, they could access behind that area through the road or through a different spot, or even, they could walk through your yard and end up in that area. We could just ask them to program it to say, if they see a person back there, immediately alert authorities. Like somebody after hours, somebody wandering, somebody hopping on the fence, that can be identified immediately and right. So like, we completely understand, like, we know where you're coming from. We're here, we were hoping that there would be some, because we want to be here for the long run. We don't want everyone to be happy. And again, I know initially you were thinking people are going to be smoking, it's going to stink, it's going to trigger headache. My wife gets migraines. I completely sympathize with that. It's not acceptable. And if we see anyone smoking, we're calling cops. We don't want that. We want to be a good neighbor. We don't want to be a bad.
Something that I think would be helpful would be images of the proposed fencing. I know we haven't even talked about chain link fencing, which is something we tend to frown upon. I think there's also a security issue here, and I think that chain link is the only way to achieve that. But there's like, ugly galvanized, there's, black epoxy coated. There's, the addition of the slats I think would be helpful. And I do think that softening that with some sort of landscaping there, especially with that fence there, when we're looking at that.
Yeah, aesthetically, we want the building to be, it was a nursery, right? So like, I'm sure there used to be a lot of plants there. It was probably very pretty in the spring and the summer.
Yeah.
We want it to be the same. So a buddy of mine's a landscaper, he's a mason. I've already told him, as soon as we get everything rolling, you're coming in here and making this beautiful. Okay, no problem. Say the word. I mean, he's awesome. Puts beautiful plants in. He did my whole entire house. It looks great. So yeah, it's going to be very pretty when it's all finished.
All right.
And we, certainly that's something that crossed our mind. We don't just want a box with a dispensary inside of it. We want a pretty outside to, also pay a little homage to the fact that it was a nursery and now it's, selling plants, right? So let's make it look pretty.
They're right themselves.
There was one other item that Chris, well, first, since you addressed Chris directly, he asked about lighting. The existing light pole that's there, as I mentioned already, is facing south, so you're not getting anything from that. And the addition of the lighting on the side of the house, they're shielded and they're only, but the height that they're mounted on really governs how far out the spread is. And as you know, that's building where that roof comes down is only about 9 feet high.
Can you maybe bring cut sheets?
Of the light fixtures, I can include that for the next one.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful. Okay, other board, I think we've spent a lot of time here. Actually, Valerie, I want to make sure, I know we talked about some of your comments on the top. Is there anything in this conversation that we should have discussed that we haven't yet?
No, nothing I can think of. The only one thing that we asked of the other two retail dispensaries is the grand opening plans. So that's something that they might want to
Right.
consider.
Yeah, and I guess we don't know. So there have been 2 other similar applications and we have asked them for when they first opened for a traffic and people control plan. So that's something.
Same thing, we would do sort of like a special operating permit, like you would do if you had an event or something like that.
Yeah.
Understood.
And Tony, I know that you're sitting here on the screen tonight, but anything from your list that we haven't really discussed that should be brought at the meeting? You're muted. Tony, we can't hear you.
Gotcha. Some of our comments are general and plan cleanup, but we did really focus on how these 2 businesses are going to run, but it sounds like that might be going away. So most of our comments were in relation to, garbage pickup for 2 businesses, parking for 2 businesses.
Okay.
That was it.
I addressed, by the way, Tony, on the most recent plan, you'll see it after, those items for just the one site. So I did address the garbage and parking lot and the accessible spaces you mentioned, so.
So I
You'll see.
recommend maybe resubmitting updated plans, so we don't spend time reviewing those plans and then reviewing, right?
Before
So
those, yes.
Agreed, yeah.
May I ask if both your companies are, if you're able to, if maybe we could talk over the next day or so like that to put together a concise list of what we discussed, what you have, what I have, so that I don't miss anything for the next time? Is that all right? If I put together an email maybe to you about what I feel needs to be addressed, is that all right?
Sure.
Just an email, even just to the two, okay. Okay,
So just gonna throw in, to the extent that there are still open violations on the property, you really should work with Joe, the building department, to clear those up.
Yeah, I just want to go back to the landscaping, because what I heard now sounds like there are things that aren't on the current site plan. So usually when we see a landscaping plan, we sort of have, it has little samples of the types of plantings that will go in. So I think it would be helpful to see a more detailed outline of what the landscaping will look like on the site plan the next time.
Okay. Any other board comments before we move on to the next item? 'Cause I feel like I think you guys have your feedback at this point.
but Lisa, if I may just to quickly summarize, I'm assuming we're coming back, public hearing stays open.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll adjourn it in a moment, but
Right,
it is.
it stays open and pending any, maybe not being able to settle the violation like that, pending any of that, it seems like we can address all the items and the concerns. We would expect that possibly it would be able to be closed at the next meeting.
We'll
Pending-
review it.
Pending
and
review,
submit,
okay,
yeah.
I just was curious, okay, I didn't know if there was anything else that was outstanding.
It's possible.
Everything's possible, you're right, okay, that was all I wanted to say.
Okay.
Okay,
Very good, thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, can I have a motion that actually have to adjourn, actually one motion to adjourn the public hearing and the agenda item?
Motion to adjourn the public hearing and the agenda item.
Already a second motion.
Any objections to that? See none. All right, so we are adjourned on that item. Thank you guys very much.
Thanks for your time, appreciate it.
All right, so, and we actually, all right, so we have, next up is going to be a continuing business. It's going to be 229 Spring, which is, the subdivision, site plan, and the art for a new single family house. So I know that this has been to us, back to zoning, and now back to us. Zoning, all of the zoning, variances were granted, correct? So we are, gonna just take a look at what was the final plat, I believe, or the proposed plat and the VAR and kind of work our way through any outstanding kind of questions or comments. And actually, I don't know, Valerie, maybe you could just kind of kick us off with any salient updates here.
So I think in terms of the additional, I mean, my memo, and I think Tony's memo also noted that there was a plat missing, but we found it in the ZBA submission, so that's technically the plat that you'll be looking at tonight. But basically, I think the biggest issues are dealing more with the final trees, and in terms of with the EAC for the LWRP review. They provided some comments and some concerns with some of the trees on site, and I think we've also provided similar comments in the past and in this memo as well, and a tree permit will need to be pulled. So, and there will need to be like a tree replacement for this site. So some of the stuff can be dealt with in terms of conditions of approval. And we can deal with it, when they go to submit for building permit. But in terms of the actual subdivision, the only thing I would say that probably needs to be added again is potentially a condition that the new home or the new property is going to be single family home and not a 2-family home.
Right. Can we put the plat up? Is it actually maybe the site plan? Maybe start with the site plan, because that'll deal with the trees. I just want to kind of let the board look at that and see what's in question here. I think that's one tree, right? That's on the village right away.
Right. So that will need that would be one of the conditions of approval.
Right, would be approved. So that's not just, that is a tree permit as well, right? But it's also
Yes.
BOT approval. Okay, can we just sort of, kind of highlight that it's on the proposed driveway. I think it's the next drawing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so we can see that. No, I think that drawing shows it, no?
No, that's just contract. There we go.
The trees not there.
Right, but it's, you can see it on the prior
Oh,
drawing, you
yes,
know?
yes.
You can see, yeah, you can see where the curb cut is, there's a tree, like on top of it, the curb cut on the right. That one. So that's one of the trees, and then and that's actually not even shown as being removed, correct, on this drawing, but,
No, it's not.
but it would have to go because it's literally right where curb, the cut's going, and then those three other trees. So those would be the trees, and we just summarized what the EAC noted about those trees.
Well, so they noted the concern was the one that's coming down. They also had concerns about like the root, and just protecting of the existing trees. And then, clearly, tree replacement, and, I can pull up if there's anything else.
Can these trees be replaced on site?
Yes, and also for the street tree, you have under the new law, you have the street bank where you can mitigate and plant somewhere else if that need to be. So,
I think one of the thoughts, and I think this was in your memo, Valerie, was having the arborist review
Yeah.
this plan and
Yeah.
make recommendations on replacement.
Yes.
I personally, I think it would be reasonable to defer to him as a condition in terms of dictating those conditions of replacement.
That's correct. And then they had concerns about the fence line and the fence and the root system. So again, one of the conditions could be protection of the roots.
And have that root system protection approved by the arborist.
yes.
Okay, we maybe just take a quick look at the plat that was submitted to the zoning board of appeals. Right, and this is just showing that the pre-construction subdivision.
Yes, choose the property line and the two lots.
All right,
You have the utilities shown on there, right? The proposed utilities? Yeah.
Yes. Believe you.
Tony and Valerie, you guys have both, I know this was with zoning, have you guys both had a chance to review this plat? I know this kind of showed up on our agenda kind of last minute.
I have not, no.
But I took a look at it. I mean, I think Tony should review it in terms of utilities and stuff, but
Yeah.
it seemed to be complete.
Okay, I think that would be, I'd like that to be another condition, is just conditional upon Keller Sessions review of the most recent plat. And I know that he's reviewed the site plan and all the other portions of the submission, so it should be relatively straightforward. Other board comments on this?
Was the curb cut was that decided if that was an appropriate size? Because I think there was a concern of it being too close together, right?
Yeah, let's go to that site, back to site plan.
Think we do show a few cement, maybe in that plan, we do show the separation between the curb cuts.
40 feet.
Yeah.
Tony, I don't want to put you on the spot there, but this, you've seen this site plan, you're comfortable with the revised curb cut separation?
Yeah, right now, the main thing we're waiting for is the stormwater design, some fine tuning of that. We did meet the applicant on site to run the soil testing, which will drive a lot of those calculations, so. Other than that, yeah.
And maybe we leave through the elevations, just the house elevations, because this is also a VAR, and we really haven't spent a lot of time there. I think we did initially when this was first proposed, but
Yeah, we shifted some of the wheel lines and the
Yeah.
windows, we changed some of this.
let's take a look at that, please.
Sorry, how much voice left.
It's all right. It's nothing like that.
Yelling at.
Okay. So facing the street. All right, so that, all right, got it. So they're right, the right side is facing the adjacent property, the
Yeah.
left side is facing the existing house, right?
Yep.
And then you got the back of the house there. And that siding is, it's a, is it like
We have
a vinyl or
no, it's
hardy,
hardy
hardy shingle? And a hardy, board and batten.
Is there a garage?
Yeah, because
Yes.
front elevation. Built
One
to-
car
built
garage.
to the
Oh, I
house.
see.
one car garage.
Where? Oh, there it is. Oh, I thought those, I
Yeah,
thought those were windows or like a patio.
There was,
Okay, got it. Thank you.
is that eight, like an 8 foot, 9 foot opening?
it's 8 foot
Eight
open.
foot, okay, so. Okay, I mean. I think it's, and in terms of color, is that the color? Is it gray and white?
I believe we.
You have, you do have a color,
It's light mist.
light mist, okay, so it's there. And the roofing tile is also charcoal, okay.
Yeah.
And window trim is white, yeah, 400 series, okay. Again, any other board comments on the BAR? I know that this is not something we spent a lot of time on, but I mean, I think it's it's an attractive design, it's a nice house.
Is there a deck in the rear or it's just
Patio.
steps and
Patio.
just a patio?
Yeah, just the stone, the
Oh.
hose.
Is that shown on the site plan?
I believe it is, because that was part of the discussion originally.
It has.
Oh.
That's on front house.
One more, no, down. There you go, proposed phase.
Proposed paver patio.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, so can I have a motion to reopen the public hearing on this?
Michael Aronson, motion to reopen the public hearing.
Eric Talbot, I second.
Any objections? We're now in a public hearing. There's nobody in the room for the record. Is there anybody in the attendees? There's nobody on the attendees list. All right, so, I mean, my take on this is, I know there's a couple of, there's more conditions than we often have, but I think that they're all related and kind of the clerical nature. I think the most important one from my mind is the tree permit, and I think having the arborist review that. Do we have to approve a separate tree permit as a planning board here, or is that tree permit gonna be issued by Joe or the arborist?
So this is something, so I mean, because the new tree law came into effect midstream of this application. So do we just do a resolution for a tree permit too?
But it wasn't
Thank you.
applied for, right? I mean, they hadn't applied for a tree permit as part of this application.
The additional application for a tree permit.
Right. So do we just adjourn it and have them apply for the tree permit for?
I know. What is the current one? This current process for the tree permit? What did it change to? Let me double check that.
Yeah.
We don't want to tell you one thing and have to have
Right.
another thing. But there is no application for a tree permit, so the board can't issue a tree permit.
But
for
we can
everything.
they're applying for a tree permit under the current tree permit law, condition of approval of the site plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's,
Process changed.
I think I don't think the process changed except for the fact that more trees, like during site plan review. They need to take into
And-
consideration
and
the
then
trees that
we-
are coming down. and
we didn't
being
have like a
replaced.
tree bank before, now it's like
Right.
mitigation that
Right.
can
So I
be
think
had
we
on
can make
site.
it
that need-
approval subject to the tree removal permit
Okay.
application.
Okay. So then can I have a motion from the board to close the public hearing?
Maria, motion to close the public hearing.
Claim be a second motion.
All right, any objections? There are none. Public hearing is closed. So I think just to summarize, we had a condition that the applicant would apply for a tree permit, condition that the village arborist would review the tree removal plan and make recommendations for replacement. I think, preferably on site to the degree that that's beneficial in his eyes. And then also that he would make recommendations on protection of existing site trees that are not planned to be disturbed. I think the other condition that we talked about was all of the open Kellard sessions and Nelson Pope comments. And then finally, Kellard sessions final review of the plat, which was approved by the zoning board.
So single family home.
And also, yes, big one, that the site plan clearly indicates that the house on the newly spun lot number 2, I believe, is single family. Right? And did I miss anything?
No.
Okay, and we have a motion to approve the application with the listed conditions.
Michael Aronson, motion to approve the application with the conditions as listed.
Copy of you for the motion.
And a roll call.
Michael Aronson. Aye. Eric Talbot.
Aye.
Holly Thurston.
Aye.
Angelica Pinganis.
Aye.
Carla Elliott. Aye. Will Maria.
Aye.
Chair Roy.
Aye. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, JB.
Congratulations.
Okay, we're done this. So we're going now to the, back to the top of the agenda. There's a Board of Trustees referral or proposed text amendment. So I just,
I'm just, sorry, one
Yeah.
more administrative thing. So Stuart likes to have each one of those. So there'll be a resolution for BAR, there'll be a resolution for subdivision, there'll be a resolution for site plan approval.
right,
So I'm gonna put the conditions that relate to like the tree permits under the site plan approval.
Mhm.
And then the condition that's related to the single family home under the subdivision approval.
okay.
Okay,
That makes
just so.
Could that single family home be on both site plan
I
and
can,
subdivision?
yeah, I can make it.
I can make sense for both. Okay, so we have the proposed text amendments to the zoning law related
Yes.
to the riverfront district, so.
So this, if you recall, this came before the board for a moratorium discussion that the village board is interested in implementing one of the strategies in the comprehensive plan, which is basically to reduce the development along the riverfront development district, which really encompasses the Englewood Waterfront Park, Harvard Square site, Westerly Marina, the oil tanks, and Chatham Yacht Club. And so the proposal is to remove residential dwelling units, which was a conditional use, and make those not permitted. And to also, in addition, in that same zoning district, to have not permitted lodging uses such as bed and breakfast or hotels. And as well as elementary schools and secondary schools and educational uses. And the thought was because that is, the concern is that those are more vulnerable uses and that area tends to flood. And then in addition, just for this board, there is no pending application for those uses, and none of those properties have those uses except for the Harbor Square site. And the board is still proposing to keep the PWRD, which is the overlay in which Harbor Square was approved in the zoning, so therefore it would not become a non-conforming use.
Which is good since I live at Harbor Square.
There you go.
Does it include the new water, that is, it include the Water Street development? Is that?
No, that's a different district.
Oh, okay.
There's a couple of districts right in there, right? Because there's, the moratorium was.
Yeah, it's
It's
very
only-
few,
yeah,
it's just this chunk here
Yeah.
along Westerly Road.
That's it.
Stopping at the curb on Broadway at the bridge, right?
Yeah.
Does it preclude retail development or just residential?
No, it just residential. It still allows for retail, restaurant, those types of things.
The moratorium also included SPN, right?
Yes, that is still being worked on by the village board.
No problem. I just wanted to be clear because we talked. we
Yeah, no,
referred back
but
to
this
that.
was the easier one, and the
Yeah.
village board was ready to move forward with these changes, and so they wanted your
Okay.
thoughts or
And this is, you know, in response to just environmental and climate changes and how that area floods, and I think it also has a benefit. I think having more kind of public use and restaurants and recreation on the river makes a lot of sense. I think it's a good amendment, makes sense. I don't really have much to add to it, but other thoughts?
No, I agree. I think we need more recreational use down there, but I'm okay with no residential. People don't tend to go to a place to eat that's flooding, or during a hurricane where it would be flooding.
Right, but people are gonna want to eat on the, you know, eat by the water and have that, yeah.
It's usually not flooding. That's my point. Whereas residents are there all the time.
Right, oh, exactly, yeah,
Exactly.
100%, yeah, exactly. Sorry, now I understand.
So with, on the other side of the train station, this doesn't apply, not the train tracks.
No.
Right.
No.
So that will continue to flood when it rains.
Well, I mean, you know, to some extent, there will be areas that will continue to flood on the other zoning districts. If for some reason this board ever wants to look at some of those and recommend changes, you're more than welcome to recommend changes to the village board.
I know when we reviewed the Water Street project, there was, you know, like the parking lots on the south side of the lot, looking at how that thing floods and how the flood protection they installed was a major concern, and where they could enter the parking lot, because I do think that the FEMA map goes up into that area.
So it's very simple. Those are really like,
that's-
but
yeah.
really a lot of it is really just
All right.
taking out the language, but that's primarily
That's
what's
fair
being
enough.
proposed.
I think that-
The more complicated one will be coming eventually in the.
No,
Less problem.
it's fair. Complicated things can be fun, or maybe not. I don't know. You guys are in the thick of it, so.
You'll see.
All right, I think that's it. I just could really quickly adjourned items, any updates that we need to discuss.
Do we need to take any action to this or no?
I don't think we really need to
Yeah.
vote. This is,
No.
you have what you need from us.
No, I think the only one we're gonna take action on.
No, you're
No, no,
not the zoning.
Oh, no.
You have what you need
No,
to go.
I will let you
Generally
know
the
that
board.
there's, right.
Okay.
Perfectly said.
Just double checking.
Yeah, sorry, the only one we need to go back on is
So we were talking
Right.
about,
Sherman, or
well, there's a couple,
they had it back and forth.
right, so 80 Main Street, I think we need to keep on, right, we're keeping that on. 5 Sherman, we did hear from them. But they submitted something, but we went back to them and says this wasn't really what the board was looking for, so they're looking at potentially submitting something different. So we should keep them on. 1 Van Cortlandt Avenue. This one, you know, this one we might want to consider sending a letter soon to basically say, are you planning to move forward with this application? If not, we'll remove it.
Let's give them one more meeting. I mean, that's, because this is also. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if we want to. When's the last time we saw them?
Long ago.
They were here not too long ago with some non-substantive updates.
Okay, so let's give them one more, and then
2 months.
put them on notice 2
Yeah.
months ago. Okay, so 3 months is usually the moving point. Okay.
And then 133, we're still waiting for them to come back, but they just were recently here. And then 209, 211 Main Street, I believe is working on answering our comments. So,
Okay.
What about 171? Did I miss what you said about?
well, that
It
was,
was originally on for today, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
so Karen, you wanna?
Oh,
I can
no,
send
no,
out, I mean,
You can call Liz. actually.
basically, they requested to be on the agenda. We put them on the agenda. We responded to their last submission, which was in June. And then there was an email today from the property owner that was,
The long and short of it is they submitted more details about the proposed culvert repair, but it still wasn't adequate to satisfy the issue. So we informed them that the board could not complete secret tonight because they still needed private information. They got kind of mad about it, so they didn't show up tonight. That's
Is that the
the,
one where they don't know who is responsible for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seemed like an angry guy when he was on the video.
So. All right, we are good. Can we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Oh, there's the motion of German.
I think I'll give you a second.
Any objection? None. Passes, thank you guys.